Stampin' Sharon, bringing you a technique today called Black Ice. It's been around for a while. I'm not sure who came up with it, but I hadn't given it a try until now. I'm going to show you some things not to do, and I'm going to show you 3 examples of different foils that you can use. So let's make that card. The Black Ice technique reminds me of the Dallas, Texas area where we had black ice and you did not drive on that because you basically can't see the ice at night. But this takes that whole term, black ice, to a whole different level, and I love it. I used silver foil paper on this card. I used gold foil paper on this card. Isn't that just stunning? And then I used copper foil. You guys know me and my copper. I love all 3 of them. And on this video, I'm going to share with you some things not to do so that you don't mess up. You're going to need StazOn, and I highly recommend having the re-inker and re-inking that pad. The key that I figured out on this technique is to have a nice juicy pad. You're going to need a Versamark pad. I'm going to need copper embossing powder and clear. Clear is key for that ice effect. I have a piece of copper foil that I cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm going to stamp my tree using StazOn. I really put a lot of ink on there, and I want you to press down all the way around this tree if you make this card at home. And kind of peel it off. Beautiful. I want to share a tip with you. On the lid, there are 2 lids to every StazOn. When you first get the StazOn stamp pad, there's a clear lid, and if you will think of it like when you put the cap on a Sharpie marker, that little click, this is your click. This helps this type of ink not to dry out. I stuck mine in with a glue dot. I think I used a couple of glue dots, so that every time I'm using the pad, I'm not touching this plastic one because I found I got inky fingers too easily. But when I put this on, it's nice and sealed. You want to make sure that this tree, let's see, can you see it? There we go. That this tree is completely dry. I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the heat tool. One of the things that I told you was I will tell you what not to do. If you don't dry that tree and you go to do the next step where we're going to be dragging the ink across our cardstock, my tree was not dry the first time. Can you see how I drug the ink from the tree? Hope y'all can see that on the video. I didn't like that look, so make sure it's good and dry. The next step is I'm going to add some snail to the back of my card, and I'm going to use my sweater to kind of remove some of the stickiness. It's still sticky, but I just want it to stay, and then I want to be able to lift it up easily. I have my copper on a large piece of paper because otherwise, if you have it on just a smaller piece, you don't have a way to hang on to that paper. And when you're dragging the stamp pads across, this can shift. We know this isn't going to shift, but if your paper shifts, then you have a challenge. I'm going to use the StazOn ink pad again. And the key to this technique is to start heavy off the paper, lighten up, and be heavy when you come off. Another trick, or tip I should say, is once you start this process, don't stop. I will show you what happens if you stop. Can y'all see that edge? That was the edge of my stamp pad. I stopped, and therefore this whole thing was wasted. Okay? We don't want a black line there. We just want the heavy here and then just streaks throughout the card. Again, this needs to be dry. Now that that's good and dry, I want it to be cool. The next step is to just take my Versamark pad. This is all good and dry, nothing's black. And I'm going to lightly come across and do the same thing. See how it's moving? I'm just gonna, go ahead and lift it up. And now I have a challenge. Hopefully my fingernail won't be a big deal, but try not to put your whole finger down to hold it if it does move on you, because then you'll have a fingerprint. Hard to get that out. I'm going to bring in my clear embossing powder. See the difference? This side has the clear. This side does not have any powder yet. Tap off any excess. And now we're going to heat again. Look how pretty. You want to make sure that you have all of that clear powder heated and melted. I have my Very Vanilla card base, and I also have my sentiment layer cut out. For the tree, I'm using the large tree from Winter Woods. This does come as a bundle. You can save 10% if you purchase it as a bundle. I did not use the framelits for this card. However, I have made some cards using those framelits. This stamp set called First Frost, it also comes in a bundle, and it has these amazing framelits. I believe this is the first time that Stampin' Up! Has ever done this, and it allows me to cut out my sentiment layer and then mat it. If you don't buy this stamp set for anything else, you need those framelits. I love that. The only sentiment that comes in the stamp set is thinking of you this season. If you want a sentiment or other sentiments to go inside, I recommend the Merry Christmas to All. May the beauty of the season fill your heart with joy. I'm going to use that on this card because I think it's a gorgeous sentiment. We're going to use our embossing buddy, bring in our Versamark pad again. And this time I'm going to use copper embossing powder. I think I've gone through like a gallon of this stuff this season. I'm going to heat set. While that's cooling, I'm going to go ahead and add some snail. Oops, that one was empty. All the way around, because this paper has a lot of embossing on it and I don't want it to pop off. Love how that mats. Woo! this is the first time you watched me do a YouTube video, I love to take these dimensionals and kind of bend them. See how I kind of bend it when I put it on? And when I do that, that backing comes off much easier. I struggle with getting the backing off, so if you struggle, I hope that tip helps you. So now we're going to stamp on the inside. Because this is photopolymer, I'm bringing in a paper piercing mat to give me, not that, I don't need that, to give me some cushion. And we're going to copper emboss. Absolutely stunning. And that copper embossing goes perfect with my copper foil paper. I hope that you love this technique. I am kind of addicted right now. I wonder if this technique would work on colored cardstock, so I will be giving that a try. I just love it. If I can help you with any of your Stampin' needs, I would be so honored. Thanks so much for watching. Black ice is pretty cool, huh? Only on a card, not when you're driving in Dallas, Texas. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I would love it if you would give me a thumbs up and let me know which was your favorite, the silver, the gold, or the copper. You guys know mine, copper. Happy stamping, y'all.